All right, parents, here we go again. It's the Ask Dr. Tony episode. This is the Experience Miracles podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Tony Ebel, an expert in pediatrics, neurodevelopmental disorders, and drug-free, nervous system-focused healthcare. On this weekly episode, I'll be addressing the top questions on every parent's mind. If there's one thing we love and welcome, it's parents who never stop learning, asking the hard questions, and advocating for your kiddos like none other. So get ready for some real talk, real-life clinical and parenting experience, and real easy to understand answers that will help your family take action and get to that next level of health and healing. You ask, I answer. Let's dive into today's episode. Okay, as promised, I don't just always want to talk about neurologically focused chiropractic. I mean, I do, truth be told. Like, if you're going to catch me sharing one thing 1,000 times over for you, your family, your nervous system, your health, and today's conversation to reboot your energy, it's going to be that. But actually, what I really do with my life to make sure that my energy is through the roof is I do a lot of things. And I do a lot of things consistently. And I do a lot of things with a very strong, you won't be surprised by this because I talk about sequence and batting order and prioritization all the time. And I do things as I'm about to break down with my list of, oh, this is such a corny name here as I have it written now, Dr. Tony's top 10 energy boosters for tired parents. I want to rip through these. Now, these are very personal to me. This is just what works wonderfully to me. So do not feel like you need to go 10 for 10, especially when we get to list number 7. I have a couple of supplements that I really love. And I notice if I don't take them, my energy falls off a little bit. Yours are probably going to be different. Every one of us, God made us different. And so starting with number 1, you're going to see how important that is to really personalize this list. But I promise you this stuff works. It'll go a long ways for you. So take it, run with it, make it yours, and let's go. Number 1 on my list of top 10 energy boosters is we must be fully all in connected to our purpose. This is throughout scripture and throughout the Bible, which is, if there's two things that I just love to pour into with my life, it's the 2 B's. It's the books that, it's biology, right? So neurobiology, neurophysiology, but the Bible, right? And scripture being first. And so right in our dining room, our team many years ago, and it was such a pivotal moment in my life because it was really right before I went from having the practice only, right? Serving patients locally and really taking this mission on locally. And it was when God was really calling me to step out and take this message into, yes, other chiropractic offices and teach and train them. But it was when God was really saying, hey, what about a podcast? What about building pxdocs.com? This idea, this dream of taking this message to the world was really brewing. And I was really nervous about it. I have 4 kids and an awesome rocking practice and a big team and responsibilities. And so I just was really praying into this. And my team, Jackie, Dr. Matt, some folks you hear from on the regular this podcast, they gave me one Christmas at the end of the year. They gave me this sign that now hangs in our dining room that says, to whom much is given, much is expected. Now, there's a lot of different interpretations and iterations of Luke 12:48, but I want to start with this. I know you're probably thinking like, oh, he's going to say cold plunges or sauna or chiropractic or B12 supplements. Those things, well, actually not the cold plunges and sauna. They don't make my list. They haven't been that pivotal for me. I've tried them. They haven't been even in the top 10 for me. But what is number 1, and it's a clear, distinct number 1, is to have an absolute calling and purpose. Now, obviously, for you, everybody, that doesn't need to be chiropractic. That doesn't need to be healthcare. It might be something in that space. Moms, dads who are transforming the health of your children through this drug-free, maybe it's chiropractic, maybe it's nutrition, maybe it's a mix of all those, maybe it's coaching and guiding and mentoring. You might be in a job right now that serves part of your calling. So I want to get detailed with this. My calling, my first foremost responsibility is to my gorgeous, incredible wife and best friend, Christina, and my 4 beautiful kiddos. That's my calling. That's where I need to serve the most. But in addition, I love that my vocation and my job doesn't feel like a job at all, as most people would interpret that word. And I think this right here is where so many of us, even if you crush the next 9 and 99 more, if you are only going to work because it fulfills that part of your calling to take care of your family, but you despise it, you loathe it, you can't stand it, you wish you had chosen anything but the career you're in, you're never going to get your energy to a 10 out of 10. Because that's not what God called us to. God called us to serve, to create impact, to make the lives of others better. And again, I am not relegating that to chiropractic. Everybody that I choose, from our accountants to my goodness, the list goes on. When we choose people to help serve our family or serve our companies and our businesses, I choose not on somebody's resume or their website particularly, I choose on whether I could tell, holy cow, this person, this woman, this man is stepping fully into their calling. Even Jesus came here to serve others. And so you may not have seen, or maybe you did see me come in with this number 1, but my energy comes from my purpose more than anything else. There are plenty of days I don't want to do another podcast. There are plenty of days I don't want to jump onto another meeting. Like if I were to be in service of myself and I thought, oh, that's where my happiness, that's where my fulfillment, that's where my energy is going to come from. If I can just better take care of myself first, and then I'll worry about everybody else later, I would have no energy because that would take me entirely off purpose. So I could literally do an entire podcast about number 1, but my energy comes from my purpose and my calling. And every time I step into it and do more of it, I come out more energized, more connected, more LF. Let's flip in. What do you think I was going to swear on the podcast? Come on. Let's flip and go sort of energy that comes from it. And that's what God has called me to. And I pray, literally, I pray that you have that too. And if you don't, what would it look like if you made a switch, made a change, and stepped into it? Okay, that's how you match this all together. Number 2, here we go. This is the one you thought I was going to put number 1. I get, at least, for me, I'm a hard charger. I'm a raging bull. I've got 2 podcasts, this one for parents and taking the message to the world. And then because we're reaching so many parents, I've got another podcast. In fact, if you jump onto my own personal, you're like, wait a minute, this is, reaching other chiropractors and helping them grow their purpose and grow their practice. Yes, if they grow their practice, they grow their purpose, right? And then they help fulfill this purpose, which is serving and saving your kids and your family's lives. And that's what it all coalesces towards. So I do a lot. I love doing a lot. I've got 4 kids. We've got 20 acres. We've got 2 goats, 5 goats, 2 donkeys, bunch of chickens. I need energy to be full send. So I get adjusted twice a week, depending on the level that you go at. Neurotonal, and it's got to be neurologically focused chiropractic care. This can't be back cracking, stretchy machine, sort of like in a van down by a river chiropractic, okay? You got to get high level neurologically focused chiropractic to get high level energy out of it. So depending upon the rate with which you go with your life, and I'm going to get into my fitness stuff with the next 2. So I do a lot. I love doing a lot. So I need to match my output with input. That's how I want you to think of this. I am putting out that much energy to do the things I love to do, to stay healthy, to be engaged in that way, to be playful and energized with my kids when I get home, not exhausted. So because I put a lot out, I need to put a lot in. I need to make sure I get adjusted. So I'm pretty religious with 2 times a week adjustment. That's my wellness schedule. That's my supportive, what we call neuro boost plan. You may be great at 1 time a week. Some patients, because they're just, maybe they're retired. They're doing great, right? The other thing they have on their schedule is pickleball, which is fun, right? And so they might be good at biweekly. I wouldn't really recommend that because most of us parents, most people listening to this, once a week is your minimum. Twice a week might actually be optimized for you. When I'm traveling, actually, because traveling is just exhausting, energy boosting, top 10, traveling, getting on an airplane full of freaking chemicals and bad air, going in an Uber full of chemicals, going into a hotel full of chemicals, and then trying to eat healthy on the road. Travel does not make my top 10. If I made a top 10 list of what drains my energy, it would be travel. So on those weeks, I actually sneak in a 3rd adjustment. And thankfully, I tend to be traveling to chiropractic conferences and schools and teaching and doing those sort of things. So I can always get adjusted on site for the most part too. So that is about clearing out the stress that I put forth, good stress in my world. And then really it's about optimization of neurological function. And I know how nerdy that sounds, but that's absolutely to the T what I mean. Number 3, on my list of top 10 energy boosters. Move daily and consistently. 10,000 steps a minimum. I wear a Garmin. I am a Garmin venue. I know some people love Whoop or some people love Oura Ring. Those are fantastic because they track your HRV, which is heart rate variability, which is neurological performance, recovery, and optimization. So I'm a big fan of HRV trackers, and not just fitness trackers in terms of counting your steps. I really love having the HRV and the pulse ox on my wrist, but I also really love tracking steps, which is why Whoop and Oura Ring didn't quite cut it for me. And if you know what these things are, awesome. I'm getting very detailed here in my top 10. But if you don't know any of these at all, just search that. Search wearable tech, HRV, Oura, O-U-R-A is a ring that helps track your sleep. Whoop is more for like CrossFit and fitness. You'll see that's really dominant there. And then Garmin is people who love to, so I'm not a runner. I am a family of runners, but I do live in the country and I love to ruck. So when I say move daily, I'm going to mix 3 and 4 together. I move consistently every single day. Even a day, I work out hard about 5 to 6 times a week with a mix. So let me go into number 4. Number 4 is mix in multiple types of exercise and fitness. Do not rely on one. I know some people are awesomely almost addicted to running, but if you get too into one thing, whether it's running or whether it's CrossFit or whether it's yoga or whether it's weightlifting, God designed us. We are dynamic. Our body does best with multi-varied challenges, right? And so the best fitness plan you could have is a mixtape of multiple things. It's kind of like my music. I love country. I love old school rock. I love, sometimes when I'm working out, I'll admit it here on the podcast, I'll throw a little 2000s hip hop around. Got to make sure the kids aren't around, or at least have the clean versions. You know, the old Dr. Dre, just it'll do it for you. You know, sometimes still in your mid 40s here. So anyways, it's kind of that. You want to mix together. So I will go through a week, and it's all about an ideal week. I'm going to get to that later on, but I will mix together a couple of, I still CrossFit 2 to 3 times a week. So that's where I'm going full send, high intensity interval sort of workouts for anywhere between 7 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on the style of CrossFit workout. Then 2 to 3 times a week, I will go for, rarely, I'll go for a run, 2 to 3 miles. And my son Oliver, who's a long distance runner, makes fun of me. He's like, ooh, did you go 2 to 3 miles at, snail pace? It's like a snail and a turtle had a kid, and it's me. And then that kid's 43 and kind of short and husky. So that's about the pace with which I run down the road at. But I love to go ruck. Now, go to www.goruck.com, ruck.com. If you despise running, but you want to get your steps in, and you want to get outside in nature, and you want to walk on trails at the local park, which is beautiful, which is awesome to do, and you don't want to run, but you want to burn more calories and build strength and fix your posture from sitting on a computer all day long, buy a rucksack. I'm telling you, if you've never heard of rucking, rucking, it is incredible. And so that's the mix. Number 3 is I get 10,000 steps daily. Often I live out in the country. We live on 20 acres. I love going out for hikes or rucks with my ruck pack on. And so I'll often do chores and take care of the farm and the animals while I'm wearing a 30 or 40 pound rucksack. And I often hit 20,000 steps a day. One little sneak in here, make sure that you, if you have time, schedule your day that you could go for a walk right after you're done eating. So again, you're not going to want to go do a big workout right after you're done eating. But if that's a day where you're just going walking, or you can add a 10, 20, 30 minute walk, that'll help stabilize your blood sugar. The other thing that you want to make sure you do with your fitness, so that's my number 4 is mixing it in. You got to have strength. So you got to do strength training, weightlifting, or at least body weights, something like that. And then you need to get strong. So that's where you get stability, but you also really need to focus on mobility and flexibility. And often, like a lot of people who work out regularly, that's where I fall short. I'll skip yoga, I'll skip stretching, I'll skip mobility, and it always costs me where I tighten up. And when your neurophysical system tightens up and you're full of tension, you're going to get tired from that tension. You can write that one down. Tension equals exhaustion. Physical tension in your body will exhaust your nervous system because tension equals subluxation equals sympathetic dominance, and it will create exhaustion. So really work on the mobility, flexibility part. Talking to myself on this one as well. Number 5, eat clean and avoid chemicals. I'm going to be really brief here because nutrition is one of those things that you could study for 40 years and still not feel like you have it down. And you're like, oh, that's a bit of a hyperbole statement. Not really, if you've gone even deep down the road of paleo, keto, macro, and tried them all. I'm telling you, for me, the best diet by far, the best nutrition plan is just don't eat chemicals, period. So everything, whether it's a snack food or it's our meat, which is the most important thing to actually have organic and chemical free, because you can't clean out a ribeye, right? If all it ate was GMO corn and antibiotics. So eat clean, avoid chemicals. They exhaust your nervous system. They confuse your nervous system. Eat clean. Number 6, go to bed early and wake up early. Now, number 6 for me right now, especially as of this recording, we just started summer break. That gets an asterisk. Y'all, I got 3 teenagers. What is happening to my life? So thankfully, my 2 older ones who now drive, their driver's license restriction. This is one of those laws that I'm like, oh goodness, we had like no laws and no restrictions growing up. I literally drove a moped at age 14 in Iowa. Who thought, without a helmet, like, hey, let's take this kid who doesn't know how to drive, put him on something that goes 18 miles per hour and send him on the highway without a helmet with their Honda Spree. Shout out to anybody who grew up with 3-wheelers and mopeds and is still here today to tell the story about it like me. But anyways, they have a restriction on their license that they can't stay out past 11. And thank goodness, because I'm not, 11's late. When I say this one, I'm talking about like ideally we go to bed like 9:30. We wake up 5:30, if not 4:30. There is nothing better there's a John Maxwell quote. I just saw the reel again on Instagram the other day where he said the number one thing his father taught him is to get up early and get a head start. Nothing feels better like literally being a head start on everyone else with the workday on repeat. So you knew sleep was going to make the list of top 10. And so while it's my job now, Christina's really an early riser. So I'm the late guy. I seem to always pull the card of staying up late and making sure the teenagers get home safe and everything else. And what's with teenagers? They don't want to talk to you at all during the day, but their energy, this list they would not love number 6 right here if you're a teen, that's the stage of life where for whatever reason, being up late and sleeping in just seems perfectly dialed in. But they want to have these like deep life chats with me at like 11 at night, where my brain power is literally non-existent and they're at their best. And I'm like, oh gosh, what do you got? What do you got for me here, God? But on my list, top 10 for sure, go to bed and wake up early. Nothing moves the needle. Now, number 7, here's my supplement list. I take a B12, a sublingual sort of, that's how it digests best for me. And then a gut health supplement that really helps the gut lining and the mucosal membranes. I believe it's called a Gut Fortify or something like this. I could list the brand, I could list all that for you, and I can have the team put in the show notes so you can send us an email if you want. But here's what I can teach you, and I have an entire episode coming out here later this summer and into the fall about supplements. Supplements are exactly like chiropractic techniques, meaning there is no one size fits all. Yes, we all need to get vitamin D, we all need to get omega-3s, we all need to get our minerals, and we all need to get probiotics. Like there's some core, what we call foundational 4 or 5 supplements. But then there's a bunch of other supplements for like hard chargers. Like I use my nervous system's energy a lot. So B12 is something that my reservoir will get low a little bit earlier and quicker than others with the way I use it, not necessarily how I manufacture it. I got another episode coming out about MTHFR and all that other sort of stuff too with B vitamins. And this, if you really want to know more about this, stay tuned for those episodes. And then gut health. Obviously, if your gut lining is a little funky, you're not going to get absorption of the good nutrients that you need. So I really protect my gut health. Now, what I have to say here, because otherwise I'd be remiss, I do not take those supplements daily. The most important thing you can do with your supplements, actually the majority of them, is you have to cycle them. What I just talked about earlier with different types of fitness and training, your entire neurophysiological system is dynamic. It's ever changing. It does better with change. Same with diet. You can't eat the same thing. You got to have this multiple, right? Like different fruits and vegetables, different sorts of food coming in. We are literally best with interval, with kind of this multivariate. So what I find, and what is so clinically proven, and it's especially practice-based proven, is if we take supplements, even they're great, they're good, we've got blood tests, we did our functional labs, and we can find out we're deficient on these. If you take them every single day, supplement, your body starts to become what could be termed immune to them. They lose their power. They lose their punch. And so what you want to do with your supplements is you want to have them on the regular, but not overly regular. So I do not take B12 every single day. I do not take my gut health supplements every single day. I have a rotation back to my concept earlier of the amount of output I'm doing. So basically most weeks it works like this. Monday through Thursday, if I'm not traveling on the weekend to teach, Monday through Thursday is when I'm going harder. I'm serving patients. I'm doing podcasts. I'm getting after my workouts. So my sleep is maybe a little bit more squeezed during the front end of the week. And so I will take my B12 and my extra supportive supplements during busy seasons. Conversely, on the weekend or on vacation, definitely not, right? Because I'm not charging as hard, so I don't need to add as much fuel. So I want you to know you're going to get more results with your supplementation if you don't necessarily take them the same dose, same time, every single day. There's a few like omega-3s, probiotics, totally good taking those every single day. Just keep the bank of those core supplements done. But these that really support your energy or your gut health or kind of attack inflammation, you don't necessarily want to be on them every single day. And again, I have an entire episode coming out that's going to talk about things that are called supplementation mimicry, the molecular biology behind supplements. I'm about to go full Tony nerd with you. And so if this intrigues you right now as I'm talking about how I take my supplements to get the most out of them for energy, put a pin in it, come back and make sure you listen to that episode all the way through when it comes out later on this summer. Number 8 on my list. We take quarterly vacations. We always have. Since the kids were babies. Now, this doesn't mean, goodness gracious, when all of our kids were little, we would maybe once a year get on a plane and go down to Florida. But I live in Northern Illinois. There's a wonderful place. People say that Disney's the happiest place on earth. That can't be true. And that's not even a knock against Disney. It just can't be true. Disney's cray and expensive, and there's a lot of people. And you're going to see number 9 is going to be talking about getting away from people. So that's a perfect segue there. But we would drive up to the Wisconsin Dells. It's 2.5 hours. If you've never been to the Wisconsin, if you are a Midwesterner, and if you're a Midwesterner who knows about the Wisconsin Dells, that might be the happiest place on earth. I don't know. Call me cheesy. It's the water park capital of the world. We love it. When our kids were little, and actually still now, we'll sneak up there now and again, and it's awesome. Y'all just change your zip code. You don't need an immaculate vacation to Ibiza. I don't know that you would take your family to Ibiza. I don't actually really, it just sounded fun to say where that is. Spain? Maybe? I don't know. But you don't need to get on a plane. You don't need some big elaborate thing, but you do need to change your schedule. You need to just take a breather. You need to shift zip codes, shift your schedule, shut down Slack, shut down email, leave your work laptop, leave your work phone, in a different zip code and get out of Dodge, right? Go on vacation on the regular. It will recharge you like crazy. We take at least, when they were littler and I was a solo doctor in practice, it would be like 4 to 5 day vacations. Now we've been pretty meticulous. We take week-long vacations quarterly. And then once in the summer, in July, we take 2 weeks off and just live it up. We actually usually do that as a staycation and we just chill on the farm. Kids are out of school and we really just do life together. So you do you on this one, like I said in the beginning of this, but it is on my list for sure of top 10 energy boosters. We are really good about getting away as a family, shutting down, power down, and that leads to recharge, clear out the cache of all the work you've been doing the last 10, 11 weeks. And get refueled, reconnected. You did a vacation, right? When the last day or two, you're ready to get back at it. You're ready to get to your routine. You're ready to get after. Again, go back to number 1, you're calling and get to work. Number 9, this makes my list. I reference it all the time here on the podcast. Get out in the country and get away from people. What? Doesn't it seem like I'm the most extroverted, people-y person ever? My kids they can't stand going in public with me. It takes me forever to get out of church on Sundays. It takes us forever to go. They don't allow me to go in the grocery store with them because I kind of know everybody as a family chiropractor here locally. But also, even if we're like 5 states away, they just know that I'm Chatty McChatterson. That's not going to shock anybody. I'll talk to anybody about anything. I'll use my manners. I'll use my kindness. And then, bam, within 2 minutes, we're talking about chiropractic. We're sending them to a PX doc and their life has changed forever. So I'm a chatty fella. All right. Even with that, probably actually more so because of that, because my whole job is connecting and pouring into people and being around people, leading my team, connecting to patients. And even here, I know I'm on my own in the studio most of the time, but I'm pouring out into people. There's nothing that recharges me. There's a lot on this list. One of the things that recharges me so wonderfully is to get out here in the country, away from people, and just have quiet. Just hear the birds, hear the bugs, hear the sounds, just hear nothing effectively, right? In terms of what we're used to hearing. So get away from the commotion, find your quiet place and get there on the regular. You may not have to go to the extreme like we did where we moved into the country. But for us, because we knew, back to number one and number two, God called us to serve people at such a high level all in. We wanted to build this oasis, and we did, out in the country where us and our kids could just reconnect, just find quiet, recharge, do all that. And then number 10, I just had to put it on here because it's on my list. Drink good, clean, strong coffee, okay? Starbucks is just laced with chemicals. That makes me more tired than anything else. Keurig, how that even qualifies, as coffee, that should be illegal. I really hope that, one day there's a law passed that you can't call all this weak sauce stuff coffee. Dunkin' Donuts, I love you East Coasters. My daughter, really wants to go to school out in Boston. We'll see if that happens. She actually works at Dunkin' Donuts right now. Each of our kiddos, once they can drive, they get jobs. That's how you got to keep that car, keep that going, right? You got to have responsibility, So she works at Dunkin' Donuts. So I'll go in there and buy a coffee just to see this beautiful smiling girl who's giving us great service, give her a big tip. And then I dump that coffee right back out in the garbage on the way out because Dunkin' Donuts is just, I don't know what that is. But you East Coast people talk about energy at full send. I always think I'm a raging bull. I think Chicago people get after it, and go hard. And then I fly out to you Jersey, you East Coast, you Boston, New York people. And I'm like, what are you on? What is your top 10 list? And actually, surprisingly, it usually includes Dunkin' or some sort of, and then also Australian homies. I'm gonna shout you out too. Everybody in New Zealand, Australia, and Fiji. Fiji Airlines has the strongest, cleanest, best coffee I've ever been on. It was amazing. I kind of want to fly to Fiji on the regular. It's a terribly long flight, but the coffee's so good, so that helps negate it. But I have not. I'm flying to Australia to teach the seminar and pour in, and all my Australian homies who I trust, they live this list. They tell me even our Conscious Cup. There's a coffee at my favorite conscious coffee shop called Conscious Cup. You ever come to Crystal Lake, you're going to get this. It's called Robot Heart. Ooh, man. It's like AI. It's like ChatGPT, the latest edition in coffee. It's amazing. Did you know I made it all the way through chiropractic school? So, and 2 kids and starting a practice and didn't drink coffee yet. It was actually shortly after Oliver was born and we went through everything with him being in the NICU and all the exhaustion that came with that I first started to go to Conscious Cup. I started like most people. I started with like sugary lattes. Like once on a Friday, I would get this thing called the Seventh Heaven Latte. That was like my cheat day. I used to be full paleo and everything. And then the caffeine in there got a hold of me, and Conscious Cup and good coffee got a hold of me. And y'all, number 10 is good, strong coffee. Nowadays, there's no cream in there, just straight cowboy farmer, thicker, stronger, better coffee, and you will be living your greatest life. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. Do you have a question that you would like to submit? Either send it to support@pxdocs.com with the subject Ask Dr. Tony, or head on over to our socials @pxdocs, where you can submit your question in our stories every single week. Every kid counts and every family counts, so let's leave no questions left unanswered. If you loved this episode and you want to help us reach more kids, we would so appreciate if you left a review and a rating on your favorite platform. God bless, be well. We'll see you on the next one.